Hey everyone, welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Alex, and today I'm going to be talking about how long does it take to actually get flexible. So this is a very difficult question and it has many answers. However, most of the time it takes 3 months of consistent stretching for you to notice results where you don't need to compare pictures, but you're just going to notice that you're, for example, further down in your splits. The flexibility and how fast we progress depends on many things. So I'm going to discuss the anatomy and physiology of our bodies and how that affects flexibility. And I'm also going to be talking about consistency, picking your exercises, knowing your intervals, so how often you should train per week. And at the end, I'm going to show you a bit of my progress just so you can see and get an idea of what I achieved as a person that doesn't have any incredible predispositions for flexibility. Let's get started. So what does the speed of your progress depend on? So it depends a lot on the anatomy of your body. So for example, with middle splits, some people have hips that are a little bit deeper, and these people will find it much harder to get into a middle split. While some people have hips that are a little bit more shallow, so it's much easier for them to stretch into a middle split position. It also depends if you have started as a child, as when we are younger, it's a little bit easier for us to become flexible, just because our bodies and our skeletons are not fully formed, so it's a little bit easier for us to work with it. Another thing that affects flexibility in a great way is the elasticity of our joints and our bones. So some people have a little bit of a different structure to the collagen in their bodies, which allows their joints to be a little bit more mobile than in some other people. So this is not a golden rule, but most of the time people that have hypermobile joints, they will experience that they might achieve flexibility a little bit faster than people who don't have hypermobile joints, just because of the structure of the collagen in their bodies. Another thing that is very important is muscle mass. So if you have been training a lot and you have gained quite a lot of muscle, the weightlifting and strength training shortens our muscles most of the time. So once our muscles have shortened, it's going to, of course, take longer time to stretch them out again. So all the examples I've given now, they are based on anatomy and physiology, and they are most of the time things that we cannot do anything about, maybe apart from the muscle mass one. But there are some things that we can control, and these are how consistent we are with our stretching, whether we have a good stretching program that a coach has helped us with, or we understand our bodies and understand how our bodies progress the fastest. Because some people will want to sit in their passive stretches longer and that will give them better results, and some people will need maybe PNF stretching, more active stretching to achieve the same results. So it's really important to understand the type of body that you have and the type of exercises you need to do, as well as the type of intervals, how long you need to hold it, how long breaks you need to have, whether you need to stretch every day or every second day, because that also varies a lot. So I would definitely recommend, for fast results, seek help from a coach or try different types of programs just so you can get to understand what your body needs. For example, me, I am a person that stretches very passively. I spend a lot of time sitting in my splits, spending a lot of time in my back bends, and this is what has worked the best for me. Many studies also argue that passive stretching is the most efficient way of stretching, apart from PNF stretching, which is also supposed to be quite good most of the time. So you just need to find whatever works for you. Not saying that active flexibility is not important, it definitely is, especially if you want to achieve leg holds and want to avoid injuries. So a little summary of what I have said. There is a lot of anatomy and physiology that affects the way we stretch and whether we will progress fast or slow. Not saying that you cannot achieve great flexibility. You can if you're consistent, if you have a good program, and if you know your body well and you know your limitations, you know if you have hypermobile joints, you don't have hypermobile joints, just because that really affects your training. And last but not least, I'm going to quickly show you a little bit of my progress. So I've stretched for 2.5 years on consistent basis. So I would stretch from 3 times to 5 times per week, sometimes half an hour, sometimes an hour. I was kind of going through periods where I stretched more and a little bit less and a little bit more and less again. So here you can see pictures of me. This is what I achieved after about 2 years. This picture here is me after 2.5 years, so about now. And I don't really have pictures of it, but the first thing I achieved after my first year of stretching was a split on square hips. And I would not say that I am a person that has any kind of predisposition for flexibility, just because I am quite stiff. I have the stiffest joints ever, so my joints, they don't even fully extend. So everything is possible if you stay consistent. And if you need any help, feel free to have a look at my Instagram. I post a lot of cool information there, and feel free to message me and ask if you have any questions about the exercises you should be using, or if you need any kind of guidance. I'm super happy to help there. So remember, most of the time it takes 3 months to see some progress. However, a lot of whether we're going to be flexible, fast or slow depends on the physiology and anatomy of our bodies. And last but not least, it's important to be consistent and knowing what works for you. See you next time.